You get the dog in the van, it's totally different than if you put a dog in a grooming studio with 15 other dogs. It's a totally different experience. Great for a pampered pet and an anxious pet, and a lot of times the older pets.
Hi guys, I'm Erica Parker here with David Y'all with Zoomin Groomin. Say hi, David.
Hi.
So we are here to bring to you a new company that just opened up here in the Woodlands and really around Houston, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Awesome, awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Zoomin Groomin and why you decided to open this business?
Well, I left the oil industry a couple years ago, and I decided to become an entrepreneur and work for myself after 30 years working for other people. I got into franchising, and Zoomin Groomin was a on-the-horizon franchise when I first bought, and then it became a little more out there, and I bought in at the beginning of 2022. They have about 7 franchises nationwide, growing quickly. The plus to a mobile grooming franchise compared to maybe an independent is that they provide business support and processes. And so if you're stepping into a business and you don't totally know everything, it gives you the background and allows you to grow with it.
Okay, great. And so what surprised you about opening this business?
Well, mobile grooming, I had never seen it actually before. I've had dogs for 50 years, most of the time, and we've just taken them into regular groomers, big box stores for the most part, and never really thought about it. And grooming can be an interesting thing. So the big box stores, a lot of times, they're more rushed. So a groomer might be doing 12 to 15 grooms in a day, where mobile grooming is more like 6 to 8. And so it's more of a time sort of thing. So it's really designed to give the dog a less anxious process. So you get the dog in the van, it's totally different than if you put a dog in a grooming studio with 15 other dogs. It's a totally different experience. Great for a pampered pet and an anxious pet, and a lot of times the older pets as well.
I know, that's one of the things I love most about it. So tell me a little bit about what customers love about your business, about Zoomin Groomin.
Well, when you're talking mobile grooming, a lot of times you can't get into a mobile groomer for months and months and months. The really exceptional ones can be booked out 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
It's just impossible to get on their rolls. A franchise like Zoomin Groomin is going to grow. There's going to be multiple vans. We're going to be able to work people in. But what really differentiates us from a lot of the other bigger groomers is that we require a minimum of 2 years grooming experience and preferably more in different breeds. And so we are geared towards giving the best customer service experience we can with groomers that both love working for us and love working with dogs and have the experience to do it. And it allows them to, in a way, run their own business a little bit.
Yeah, and the whole idea of having that mobile groomer versus having to take your dog in, and also your dog doesn't have to sit in the kennel the whole time.
Exactly.
And all that stuff. That's really nice.
They're walked out of their house, they're walked into the van. It can be anywhere from 50 minutes to 3 hours, depending on the size of the dog and the length of the hair. And then they're walked right back into their house. The only dogs they're exposed to are the dogs in their house they're already familiar with, so it's a less stressful experience for them.
Absolutely, that's awesome. So tell me, what is something that most people don't know about this business?
It's very word of mouth.
Okay.
Everybody knows. You drive by, maybe your vet has a groomer and you see it, or you drive by PetSmart or Petco and you know it. You might have seen a mobile grooming van, so you're trying to get into it and things like that. But what people don't really know about it is that it's a more premium experience for people. Where we get our customer base mostly is referrals from satisfied clients. It's not something that's in the mainstream. It's not like you drive by PetSmart and know, hey, I've got a groomer. Mobile grooming is known by some people. Other people say, I've been trying to get into a mobile groomer for months and I can't do it. So it just depends. But face to face, the marketing, the customer relations, that's everything in this business.
Absolutely. And so how do you keep your staff and your employees motivated?
Well, okay, so I'm still kind of new to this myself, but what I'm finding so far is that a lot of groomers who work in traditional salons either have owners that are pushing them to do way too many dogs in a day. The reimbursement rate isn't as good. So and sometimes it's a toxic work environment. Here, you work for yourself or you're working with a small team that might be running the van, 2 or 3 groomers at most that might be running the van 7 days a week, they become friends. Everybody has access to me pretty much all the time, and that can give a better satisfaction. Plus, from what I can tell, we pay our groomers fairly well. So so far, I think I've had no complaints on it.
Awesome. And you know, you said you bought this at the very beginning of 2022, so right. Everyone's got to have goals. So what are your goals for this next year?
This next year, I would like to be at 3 vans by the end of the year. Right now, we service Mobile Woodlands. By next year, I want to expand that footprint. We do service a little outside of it, but I want to have 3 vans servicing primarily Spring, Conroe, Magnolia, Woodlands, Tomball, and a little bit area east of I-45.
Okay.
Called Harmony over off of 99 and Rayford.
Sure. So Harmony, the Imperial Oaks, and Bender's Landing area.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, those are some great goals. So why don't you tell me a little bit, like, what's something that a lot of people don't know about you?
That I wasn't a natural entrepreneur, but I should have done it 20 years ago. I spent, I got master's degrees in geophysics and petroleum engineering / combined, and a master's in business administration. And that was all 20 years ago. And I got into the industry, and for 10 years it was pretty fun. And I had a chance to be an entrepreneur 20 years ago in a breakout field, and I didn't do it. And once I kind of got forced out of my industry and COVID hit, it was an opportunity to do what I thought I would love, and it turned out it did. And so I went from 2 years ago getting laid off on 5 minutes notice to now I employ 16 people consistently, providing jobs. I'm also into chiropractic as well. I own a couple of chiropractic centers in North Houston. So the number of people we see and help, both with dog grooming and that, is just, they're all feel-good businesses. They provide jobs, and they are helpful to the community.
Cool. Well, that's really cool. I love that. And you know, you and I have had a chance to talk. We're both foodies. Why don't you tell our audience some of your favorite restaurants up here in the Woodlands and everywhere? Okay, so
my 2 favorite in this area would be Craft Grill off of Kirkendall.
Ooh, okay.
That one's excellent. They also have a breakfast concept that's open in the mornings. Best restaurant, hands down. Second one would be Republic Grill up at Gosling and Woodlands Parkway. Love those 2. Those are the best independents. I mean, there's some good chain restaurants too, but I'm not going to go into them. And of course, there's always El Chaparro's there too. Really good Mexican restaurant. They have 2 or 3 locations, but they're family owned as well.
Yeah, that's great. I love that, and I'm very big supporting local too, so I totally understand. Well, you know, what I love to also dive into, especially with entrepreneurs, is kind of understanding what drives them. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what your highest highs in life have been?
The highest highs in life would be making the step. I remember we were looking at what we were going to do, and getting into the chiropractic franchise and making that decision was completely life-changing to me. Now, I could have opened my own business and stuff like that, but I'd gone into consulting and I was miserable, absolutely miserable, making good money, but I hated going in every day. I couldn't get out. I didn't want to get out of bed. Now I work, gosh, a low day for me is 9 hours. Usually it's more like 14, and I'm working 6 or 7 days a week. Is that the ultimate goal? No. But when you're first in ramping stuff up, that's pretty normal. And so I have the freedom to do what I need to do. Sometimes my days are a little bit drudgery. You know, it's just normal when you got a business, taxes and everything else that deal with. But the high is seeing the dogs after, you know, especially with this business, seeing them on a before and after, having staff text you and say, look at this or whatever. It's just very, very engaging, and it makes my day.
Oh, absolutely. Being able to help people and opening a whole new business for yourself too. Like, I can definitely see where that would be a really high for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, I like to ask more of the questions on, you know, just as an entrepreneur. And so one of my questions that I like to ask is, you know, when you're gone, what do you want to be remembered for?
I don't necessarily want to be remembered by my name. Some people want to have name recognition. What I would like to do is to know whose lives we impacted along the way. whether they ever know who I am or not. But you know, I go into one of my, just for instance, chiro centers, or even a chiro center owned by another chiropractor in our franchise, and you'll see somebody who couldn't do more than this 2 months ago, and now they have full range of motion and no pain. Dogs, it's seeing a dog that might be difficult, that they can't go to a regular groomer, yet they walk right into this and they have a good experience and they come out, you know, happy. That's important. I have 3 rescues myself, and I deal with the psychological issues and the trauma they had. And so anything you can do to not impact that is great.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that what y'all do with Zoomin Groomin, it helps a lot of people. Anxiety, and I have a dog that was super old, and I couldn't find anyone that would actually groom him. And so I love that y'all handle older dogs as well. I mean, that's really awesome, because for a very long time he went for almost a year without being groomed because I was having trouble finding someone that would actually groom him. So I know how that is, and you do help people, and you do change people's lives and make them better. So thank you for that. Now, I want to make sure that people know how to get in contact with Zoomin Groomin if they want to use you. So please, can you share how to best contact you?
The easiest way, there are 2 ways, but the easiest way is just to call, and that's 832-777-7965.
Okay.
We do have a 1-866 number up here, but it only targets the areas that in and around Woodlands. We do cover a bit more than that currently, so the best way is that local number.
Okay.
And then after that, they're on our customer list, and they can just send a request.
Okay. And do y'all have a website or anything for them to look up?
Not specific. If you do Zoomin Groomin if you just Google Zoomin Groomin Woodlands, you'll arrive at our location. We're still the website's still kind of being built.
Okay, great. Well, that's wonderful. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you, David, for just bringing Zoomin Groomin to everyone's attention and making sure that we all know about how wonderful this company is. And so everyone, if you liked this information, please give it a big thumbs up so other people on the YouTube algorithm will see it as well that are looking for this information. And we appreciate it. If y'all have any questions, please give me or David a call depending on what you need, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.